So let's start the draft. I got Druid, Mage, and Warlock. Warlock's my worst class, not gonna pick that. I think Druid is probably better than Mage for me personally. But it's such like a reactive class. You can go fast with it, but it's kind of like boom or bust. So I'm going to play it safe and play the Mage here. Alright, first card, Gadgetzan, Gnomish Experimenter, or a Death Lord. Oh god, this is not a good start. We could go Gadgetzan and then play purely for the late game, because once you have a Gadgetzan, you can draft for it. So starting with a Gadgetzan first is actually fairly good. So I'm going to do that. Which means now I can take a Frostbolt and it'll be completely fine, because I'm going to win on the Gadgetzan. Ogre Brute, best card here. The problem with an Ogre Brute is you don't guarantee to hit your target, and if you don't hit your target, you can lose the board, but that's fine, because we don't need the board, we have a Gadgetzan. Frost Nova, Explosive Sheep, Leper Gnome, definitely the Explosive Sheep here. We're waiting for the Gadgetzan, so the Sheep will help us clear. Actually, Frost Nova is a spell. I am going to think a little bit with the Frost Nova. It's too early in the draft to take a Frost Nova. Maybe if this was later in the game and I know I have some other board clears, I'll take the Frost Nova. But for now, it's going to be the Explosive Sheep. Flame Cannon, great. Mech Warper. Okay, so here's one more synergy, and now I can start thinking about putting mechs a little higher to try to ramp them out. Oasis Snapdraw, Frost Nova, Mogusha, Warden. This is rough. This is rough. I have 1 2-drop, 1 3-drop. Not enough drops. Oasis Snapdraw is not really a drop. I think with the Gadgetzan, I would have to go with a Frost Nova here. It's going to lose a card. I know Hearth Arena is going to say Oasis Snapdraw, but the Snapdraw just does so little. I guess it does taunt a lot of damage, and I am trying to survive until a certain spot. But so I'm being pulled right now towards a lot of directions already. I'm definitely going control. And I'm being told, I have a lot of late game cards already. It doesn't seem like it, but the Gadgetzan Auctioneer means all of these could be late game plays, and it'll be, better actually than being played early game. I need mechs, so I'm going to pref mechs. And I have 1 crowd control, but like 1 area of effect, but you Frost Nova it, they'll put out something big, presumably, instead of bunches of small stuff. So it's not really a setup for Frost Nova. So going forward, I'm going to take every AoE anyway, and then you know what? Let's go with the Frost Nova. Amani Berserker, best card here. Mana Worm. Mirror Image is great, but we have a lot of small spells, which makes Mana Worm incredible. We also have the Frost Nova, which means this deck could still go pretty fast. And we have a Gadgetzan, which means we can keep taking later spells like Mirror Image. This Deathlord is not going to let us get away. We're going to take an Argent Commander. Again, this preserves our aggro control flexibility, even though we very much prefer aggro right now. Knife Juggler. So now we have 1 2 3 2-drops, card number 11. We're doing fine. Antique Healbot, that's a good heal, but Frostwolf Warlord is much more value, and we still don't have actual minions to play that are big, so getting 1 is fine. This is going to be one of those flexible mid-range. It's not a mid-range deck, it's a flexible deck that can go fast or go slow, which is my favorite kind. It's a little awkward in that we can't guarantee to curve out, because we have too many utility spells, but Fireball, can't not take a Fireball, can't not take a Polymorph. Ooh, do I take a Razorfen Hunter over a Trog? It's close. It's close. I think I'm going to have to take a Trog here still, because we're on 14. We can still take a 2 without it being too bad, and we'll focus on the 3s later. So this is still fine. Cone of Cold, perfect. We're starting to miss 4s. We're starting to miss our 4s, which is a problem. But I'm not taking a Silvermoon Guardian over a Ship's Cannon. And now we're good on 2s, and we don't need any more 2s. We also don't have any mechs to actually warp out, which is bad. But Twilight Drake, there's our 4. Very nice. Another Fireball. Won't even think about anything else. Deathlord, Ethereal Arcanist, or an Illuminator. Gonna have to go with an Illuminator just as a 3-drop. We have a good deck. We have 2 Fireballs, a Polymorph, we have a lot of spells. They synergize with the Gadgetzan. We're just trying to survive right now. We're not trying to, we only have 1 AoE. We're not trying to play any risky games with the Deathlord. Mind Control Tech, Pint-Sized Summoner, Demolisher. Mind Control Tech is the more control card. It's also the best card. It's also a 3. We definitely don't need a 2. We could have the board. We could not have the board. Demolisher is a little too much of a risk. Although it is a mech. Still have to go with the Mind Control Tech here. Oh, perfect. Emperor Cobra. Can't ask for a better 3-drop. Which means now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 3-drops. We could take more because Mind Control Tech, Emperor Cobra can both be moved to later. But a Spectral Knight is very good here. So we'll go with that. We don't have 4-drops, so that's what we need. But we're running out of time, so we're probably not going to get a 4-drop. Ooh, this is interesting. Acolyte of Pain Ping is a move for the late game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 spells. That's way more than enough to trigger the Gadgetzan. So we don't really need cards. Reckless Rocketeer adds to Ardent Commander, but they're all very, very slow cards. And we have ways to deal damage. We have 2 Fireballs. We have a Polymorph. So do I really just take a Reckless Rocketeer for the Reach? We have 2 Fireballs already for the Reach. I think we're fine. I don't think we need the Reach. I think we could just use a card that we can definitely drop early, and it could get some value in the late game as well. I'm fine with an Acolyte of Pain here. Okay, Youthful Brewmaster, definitely don't need that. We're taking a Snow Chugger over it. Although, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have only 2 3s, which is rough. You kind of want a better diversity there. But, not sure what Youthful Brewmaster is brewing back. Definitely not a Nightblade. It actually doesn't. It's actually not that bad for this deck. But we'll go with our 6 2-drop. And here's where maybe we should have taken the Razor Fen earlier over the Stone Splinter Trog, because this deck really does not need 6 2-drops. So we're going very small right now, and we won't have enough to keep up in the late game. Second Gadgetzan, this will really help us with our spells. But I'm not going to pass up the... Actually, should this deck just take another Gadgetzan? We have so many moves once we get a Gadgetzan. We can't afford to be 2 control though, because besides that Explosive Sheep, we really don't have any other. We have no Flame Strikes. We have no Blizzards. We have 1 Cone of Cold. Frost Nova, it just kind of stalls the game a little. So we're actually going to be fairly aggressive. The Gadgetzan's kind of a bailout card. The Bomb Lobber can actually help us stay on the board while adding to it. So if we had drafted a more control deck after our first Gadgetzan, I would take the second Gadgetzan here. But we have a lot of Gadgetzan synergy, but we don't have the late game in which the Gadgetzan synergy will back it up, because we just assume you put it out, you play 1 spell, and then it's probably going to get removed. So we're going to have to go with the Bomb Lobber here. Earthen Ray Farseer is great, but we have so many spells. So Sorcerer's Apprentice, easy choice. Icelands, we don't have. We actually, we have a good amount of freezing spells actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 2-drops. That's a lot of 2-drops. I'm not sure I want more 2-drops than that. This is becoming like a very, very aggro deck. I mean, which one of these is more aggro? Icelands or a Sorcerer's Apprentice? Cone of Cold, Icelands. Ooh, I have a Cone of Cold and a Frost Nova. This Icelands can actually get like a ton of value. Oh, this is rough. This is rough. Sorcerer's Apprentice can let us get... get a spell out quicker. These spells also trigger the Mana Worm, but you can't just Iceland something just to trigger a Mana Worm. That's not good. I think Icelands is still a bit slow in this deck. I'm going to go with another 2-drop. And this could also be a 3-drop with a Frostbolt or a Flame Cannon. So we have our choices here. Okay, we have a Legendary. Not a Tank Master. My Exna is fine, but it doesn't deal face damage. So I'm going to have to go with a Hogger. Generates taunts, which can allow us to deal more face damage. This deck is getting very, very aggressive. So we're going to stick with the aggression here. And then a Youthful Brewmaster or a Tauren Warrior or a Wisp. We have too many 2-drops. This is an aggressive deck. We're going with a Wisp here. We just have, there's no need for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no need for our 8th 2-drop. That's unnecessary. Tauren Warrior is not really a 3-drop. It'll never act as a 3-drop pretty much. So how many 3-drops? Yeah, and we still have 4, 5, 3 real 3-drops with a couple less, with a couple half 3-drops. So I'm okay with taking a Wisp here, because we're aggro. We're at the point in which we are aggro, and then we're going to put a Gadgetzan down with some spell either on turns 8 or 9 if we happen to get there, and continue to push. So I'm okay with this. And now, ooh. This deck, man. Another Gadgetzan. We're already at the point where we're pushing aggro. We don't need a Wild Pyro. We've settled that. I think an Imp Master will be very good for this deck, actually. Yeah, so we don't have 4-drops, which is a consideration, which means on turn 4 we could play 2 2-drops. So maybe we do play Wild Pyro, but no, if we play Wild Pyro, it's just such a bad card for this deck, because it's going to ping our other stuff if we're really as aggro as we think we are. And only the Amani Berserker actually wants to be pinged. So this Explosive Sheep is an awful card, and we picked it way too early, so we didn't even know where our deck was going at that point. We ended up just getting no good big cards. So I think Imp Master is good here. Yeah. I think Imp Master is fine here. Oh no. Alright. My Hearthstone client just closed because I haven't been active long enough. Alright, let's go with the Imp Master here. And then we'll hope to make this into a rush deck with a awkward Gadgetzan combo. That's fine.
This is for the round robins. Let me get everything set up. Alright, cool. Practice draft. Alright, I can't pick mage. I know I can't pick mage. Gul'dan Valier. Gul'dan's so inconsistent. I'll pick the Valier. Here, probably Matter Bomber over Low Exorcist Grace Alchemist. Mad Bomber over the Ogre. Let's get a more aggressive deck. Another Matter Bomber? Wow, okay, alright, sure. Take the Stormwind. Take the Worgen. Take the... Take the Cult Master. Oh, Sprint's horrible. Cult Master's pretty bad though. Sprint, God, and this Sprint's too slow. Lord of the Arena's alright. I'll take Lord of the Arena. I'm not even gonna pick the Cult Master. Another Mad Bomber, okay. Pilot, Sky Golem versus Faceless. I'll take the Sky Golem. Tinker All versus Fire. Take the All. Take the Shade for sure. Conceal Vanish. Conceal even looks fine over the Booty Bay. Oh my god. I'll take this shit, yeah, sure. Spider Tank for sure. Okay, finally a good card. Magician's Blade or Slush Belcher. Take the Magicians. Take the Scarlet. Oh my god, the Neutron. Take another Spider Tank. Ooh, Haunted Creeper over Assassinate. Yeah. Haunted Creeper looks really good in this deck. Hitmaster. Deathlord, I just hate Deathlord. Cobra. Slush Belcher. Ooh, Shredder, okay. Oh god. Dancing Swords versus Farsi. Actually looks like a deck where I picked Dancing Swords. Kodo. Right, we don't get spells in a deck like this. Butzer Raider, Yeti. Oh no, Frost Elemental for sure. Then another Creeper. Then another Petitions. Yeah. Wow, like you rarely get class cards with this thing. That's one of the weird things, right? The class cards are not the same. I'm pretty sure it's like completely random. Right? Like I only get 3 class cards. That's something this website should really be looking into. But let me make this deck.
Here we go. Paladin, Warlock, Rogue. Kodo is easily the best card here. Bear Cobra is fine. Implosion over Wailing Soul. Life Juggler is good. Ship's Cannon is fine. Murloc Tide Hunter. Spectral versus Senjin. Don't have a 4-drop yet. Take a Senjin. Frostelli over Ventrico. Michelle. I'll Teacher versus Stampede Kodo. We need 4s. Kodo is so good though. Kodo is really greedy. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 drops. Take a Power Overwhelming. Blue Kill is fine. Defender of Argus. Mortal Coil. Another Frost Ellie. Zombie Chow. Bomb Lobber. Stone Splinter Trog. Another Defender. We have 2 1-drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. 1, 2, 3-drops. 10 picks left. Probably 3 more 3-drops. 3 more 4-drops. Okay. Rhythm Ring is fine. Explosion. Take the Iron Fur. Bend Creeper versus Drain Life. Jeez. 3 plays on 5. Fine. Shadow Bolt is fine. One, two, three, 4. The Reckless. Dark Iron Dwarf is excellent. Oh my goodness. The Torn Chieftain. Oh man, this card should not be showing up in the draft. I gotta take this, right? Because it showed up. Oh man. I just need a solid play on 6. We have 4 or 5 drops. Frost Delis are somewhat situational, so is Reckless. Karen. Awesome.
So who do we have in the first game? Who's facing who?
Collins versus Ratsmah.
Sounds good. I am real curious to see how Collins' deck ends up working out. It was, I think Collins will agree that it was a little bit of a disappointing draft, although he got quite a few value creatures in there. All right. Turn 1 from Rats. I think he was really hoping for a 1-drop. If he could have dropped Zombie Chow, his position could have been extremely good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Blood Celebrator here, I think, is absolutely fine. He's going up against the pink class. The Rogue's hero power is the most efficient and the most powerful hero power in the early game.
Definitely.
Over here, Collins' hand is decent. I think he would have definitely preferred a faster start, getting out that Shade of Nax.
Yeah,
Iron
getting
Fur.
out early. I think it was a good choice.
Definitely. It is a little bit slower than he would have liked, and he used the coin. And usually with the coin, you want to really, really power out something that gives your opponent some trouble. Over here, I think is fine. That's the power of pink class versus non-pink class, right? And Rats draws the perfect answer. More oil on the Shade. Yep.
Definitely. Personally, yeah, if I was Collins, I really would have liked to be able to coin to combo out the Perdition's Blade, just to get the extra 2 damage on something. So it looks like Collins just wants to get on the board. Master is going to be a good counter to 2-1 and the 1-1.
Definitely. So I think Ratsmah has an interesting choice here. He's got quite a few plays. What would you do in this situation?
I think I would try to isolate one of the targets and Stampede and Kodo and hopefully get the Master.
Definitely. Yep, he went with that play. Didn't exactly get the target that he wanted, but still, you get some value out of the Kodo. I think Sledge Belcher is a pretty good play from Collins. Gets to protect that Imp Master. So this is a hand for Ratsmah that I'm pretty sure he just sees as pretty clunky. He does not want to tap here. He just wants to play 2 cards in this turn. He's forced to tap. That Sledge Belcher is going to be highly annoying for him. It's just fine to taunt up and just kind of play it out from here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you see from Collins' turn, Shang?
I think he has a very strong board right now. The 3-2s going to protect the 2-1-1s that are going to be out. And let's see, he could certainly just choose to freeze the 3-5 and just get him damage. If I was Collins, I would certainly put a little bit of consideration into maybe Dread Infernal coming out. Although if he had it in his hand, he would have played it on turn 6. So it looks like Collins' strategy is just to push for damage by playing the 3-4 and 3-1, and he did hedge against the possible Dread Infernal by just trading in the 2-1-1s into the 3-3.
Yep.
Wow, you got the roll of 4 imps.
Yeah, extremely strong. Rogue, other than Fan of Knives, does not have a reliable way of dealing AoE damage. Betrayal really does not work here at all. Really puts Collins in a tough situation.
So many options.
How do you think Collins kind of wins? Because I think Ratsmah is in a very good position right now, especially with the Defender of Argus.
I think I don't think Collins can win with what he has in his deck. It's just that he needs reach, right? Like, he needs to just go face and reach, but there's so many things that Ratsmah can do to just slow him down. In this situation, like, Ratsmah is actually playing the control, and Collins is actually trying to play beatdown here.
He is. Well, when you have 2 decks that are tailored to go fast, one has to slow down a little bit, right?
That's right. And the thing is, I think Collins just recognized that he can't really match Ratsmah on in terms of cards because of the ability to just tap right, and also the fact that he's actually at higher health than the Rogue. So the only thing that he can really do to win is just to pray that he can race him. So if I was him, I'd probably put something small out and just tank and get as much damage as possible.
Yes.
I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, now looking at his deck, and given how this all the decks sort of panned out, and it's definitely like he's not really hurting for taking something small over like an Assassinate, for instance, because looking at this board right now, there really doesn't seem like there's much that you would want to assassinate anyways.
Right. I'm wondering what kind of meta consideration these players made, knowing that, number one, they're going up against 2 other top-tier players, and also just trying to outthink them, like what kind of decks that they want, what kind of players that they are, and what they kind of prefer. It's just really tough in the arena because obviously it's not constructed where you can choose exactly what you play. But all right.
I thought a thought was put into, wow, the Kodo's going to get value here.
Kodo's going to get great value here. I think Collins was hoping that the Annoyotron would just really slow them down a little bit, and now we just have an extremely powerful turn coming from Ratsmah.
Yeah. So it doesn't really have to deal with this board. You can just go face. Especially given 2 taunts here.
Yep.
So back to your original question. I think the idea for most of these players was basically I want to make sure that I have a consistent curve so that I can play something and not skip a turn. So you saw that like a lot of players probably took what Hearth Arena would consider to be higher value cards, but in consideration of the mana curve.
Definitely. So Collins is just on his last breath right now. He's just searching for something that can help him out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I
really feel I really feel like he wanted to put stuff out and to be able to play the Tink on the turn where he can actually use it with the minion and guarantee that he can go face. But fortunately the 2 taunts kind of, and the Kodo kind of screw that up.
All right.
A little bit of friendly BM here.
Ratsmah always with the masterful BM. And game 1 is in the books. Ratsmah takes it over Collins.
You asked for it.
All right. So Collins was actually able to draw into a 1, which I think he's very happy about. ADWCTA is keeping a 2 and a 3. I think that's perfectly fair. This is turned out to be pretty good. Snow Chugger can be very annoying for the rogue early game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Collins is just dropping his 1. That's fine. ADWCTA is definitely going to be coining out. I think it's perfectly fine to coin out the Stone Splinter Trog if he just wants to use the Snow Chugger on the next turn. And then I'm guessing he's going to follow up with the Illuminator. He definitely wants to draw it into a 4. We'll see if that happens or not. How do you like Collins' hand right now?
I think his hand is very strong. It's just a little awkward right now because since he doesn't have the coin, he's not going to be able to sort of play out all his odd number cards, if that makes sense. Like on turn 5, like it's not possible to play like a 3 and a 3 together. But I feel like the strength of his hand is, in terms of minions, is pretty good.
Yes, definitely. And here we see basically an example of why the second player is at a disadvantage. You use the coin, and if you don't get a huge advantage, then your Chugger is going up against their Spider Tank.
Right.
So now Collins is in a fairly decent position. We have the Illuminator here. Just a kind of a clunky turn, but that Flame Cannon is going to save him and actually be able to dispense of the Yeti.
Yeah. Overall, I would say I think Collins has higher quality minions, but the difference is that ADWCTA has actually has spells.
Yeah, the class cards are very, very important.
This is going to be such a good bomb whopper here. Especially since that bomb whopper, that Matter Bomber, even though it did its job, ended up hitting his own face for 5 of the 6 bombs.
It's just bomber on bomber action, all the bombs. All right, so let's see. Collins has 6 mana this turn. Do you agree? So it seems like he wants to play the Senjin. What do you think about just freezing the 3/3? We know that Collins loves using all of his mana, and if he is only playing the Senjin, then he can't actually do anything other than hero power.
For me, I would consider either Frost Elemental or maybe the Spider Tank and Master. But I think for me, I would use the Frost Elemental to freeze the 3/3. Just get on the board with something.
Yeah, that's interesting. So he chose to dagger up. Why do you think he chose to play Descension? That seems to be a play that I'm questioning a little bit right now.
I'm actually not really sure. I mean, I guess he wanted more durability on his dagger. That's all I can really think of right now. But I feel like freezing the 3/3 just would have given more tempo. And then you could also just drop the Sledge Belcher the following turn. And then
Definitely.
dagger upright.
Yeah, yeah. So over here, ADWCTA just slams down Hogger. I think it's a fine time to just put down Hogger. He's definitely hoping that it'll stick, just get some more value out of that infinite engine of Hogger. And he chose not to attack in with it, which I think is completely fair. You don't really need it to play around well, you don't need, basically you don't fear betrayal. You don't fear a lot of things. If he's going to use an Eviscerate on it, that's perfectly fine. The Bomber has already gotten value out of it.
Right. It's a little unfortunate because, well, I don't really see this Hogger going away anytime soon. And that, I mean, that dagger doesn't really do anything for him now.
Yes, this is the essential problem with Collins' deck. It has no initiative. It doesn't have the poisons and the backstabs and the eviscerates, and you can see he's really suffering for it right here because that Hogger is going to get another taunt off.
Right. So what do you think is the key for Collins to be able to get back into this game?
I think Collins has a decently strong board here. I'm wondering what went through his head when he did that play. I think he was just thinking, if he flame strikes here, I lose. And that's just the way it is because if you look at this, at Collins' board state, he's just saying, if you have the flame strike, you have the flame strike. I can't play around it. That's just something I have to accept. And over here, I think he's very happy that ADWCTA is kind of thinking about this turn because he doesn't have a flame strike. So I think in order for him to come back, he needs to take the board. He doesn't know that ADWCTA's hand, so he's hoping that ADWCTA has a slower hand, and he's able to, and Collins is able to put stuff on the board, go for a little bit of face damage, finish off with Tinker Sharpsword Oil in the end.
Yeah, that's a good analysis. Well, yeah. I mean, back to what I said earlier. Just to be able to freeze minions with spells allows them to push in 7 damage here, which is pretty critical, I think. Especially since the rogue is forced to use her face to be able to add up damage sometimes to clear stuff on the board.
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, at that point in the game, you don't really play around the flame strike anymore because if you play a game of value, you try to get the most out of your minions. If you play around too many things, you're just going to lose in the value game here.
Definitely. You look at your deck, you look at your opponent's board, and you think to yourself, can I play around X, Y, and Z? And with Mage, you always have to be thinking going into their turn 7 Flame Strike, and he just saw that there's no way that he can possibly play around it. So you just go and try to improve your board as much as possible and see what happens.
Huh.
Oh, interesting. So ADWCTA chooses to go face here.
Okay. I'm a little bit wondering why you wouldn't use the 2/2 to clear the 1/2, just get one more extra damage on. I guess this forces either the dagger or...
He made a read on Collins. He saw that Collins for 3 turns straight basically had no answer to his very wide board. And knowing that, he's thinking, okay, you are just basically, all you can do, like you have no initiative. You just have minions that you can drop.
Right.
So I'm going to take advantage of that. And that, while that is true, Stormwind Champion is a minion that he can drop and has initiative. So now Collins is in a great spot and is able to really turn it around. And also, I think ADWCTA was thinking, hey, I got 2 fireballs in my deck. I have a lot of stuff with reach. I can do this.
Right. Well, okay, so it's 10, 15, 17 damage. If he just puts a bunch of minions on the board here, he could just force the trades and just go face.
Yes. Although I think ADWCTA might be considering drawing again and just trying to draw towards that fireball. Because with this board state, I think he realizes that he will not have the board initiative. Collins has more stuff out on the board than he can pump out with 9 mana. And he needs to draw into that fireball or draw into something to really kind of threaten Collins soon.
Right. Okay, so would you consider, like, in that situation, just, since you know you're not going to be able to sort of get the initiative back, just dropping the Acolyte of Pain, pinging it to draw the extra card?
No, definitely not. You need to drop credible threats, and if you are able to drop credible threats, it buys you time anyways, because Collins' minions needs to attack into your credible threats. If you only drop an Acolyte of Pain, Collins could potentially ignore it, go face. You can draw, but it's a little bit slower. I think that ADWCTA is not so desperate yet that he needs to drop Acolyte and ping it. Basically, just 5 mana, leaving a 1-attack minion on the board. I think he's patient enough, and rightfully so, to not get that desperate yet.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, that Frost Elemental is getting a lot of value here.
Yes, definitely.
Ooh. So that Gadget Zan actually didn't really work out too well here.
No, that Gadget Zan is very, very slow right now.
So, kind of makes me wonder whether this is the turn where he tries to draw for stuff, because what does he have on the board? 8, 13, 19, 20 damage. Wow.
Yes. So the problem with this turn as well, he needs to, if he wants to draw into Fireball from lethal, he needs to ensure that he has 1 damage on Collins' face. So in order to get that, he could play the Knife Juggler, he could play his minions, and then ping afterwards and see what he gets. There's no way he could possibly draw from the Gadget Zan. So it's just a matter of how you want to draw.
Right. Ooh.
Chooses to draw with the Imp Master.
Okay.
Tosses out the Juggler.
So that's going to get 2 daggers?
Yes, it's going to get 2 daggers. So now, once again, he has a wide board, and he is basically banking on the fact that Collins will not have lethal this turn, which forces him to deal with this board. And all he needs to do is make sure one of these minions sticks. So he can deal 1 damage to the face, hopefully draw into that Fireball, and win it from there.
Mm-hmm.
So many options.
Yeah, he's pretty much guaranteed to draw 1 more card from Acolyte of Pain, which is also going to cycle his deck.
Mm-hmm.
So Collins definitely has to deal with this board somehow. The question is whether or not it's worth it to take the risk to Mad Bomber here.
Collins is in an interesting position. He obviously needs to clear just enough to prevent lethal, and then it's a matter of how much do I want to clear off the board in excess of what I need to. So let's see what he does here, because I think he has quite a few choices. Does he want to draw with the Cult Master? Alright, getting rid of the Acolyte for a potential draw, I think that's a fine play.
Huh. So I guess he sort of... No? I didn't have time to dagger up.
Yeah, and was not able to play the Kodo as well.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate.
That is definitely unfortunate. So right now, ADWCTA got that 1 damage to the face that he really wanted for Fireball. He's looking at the Gadget Zan, and I don't think that's a particularly bad play just because you want to be drawing closer and closer to that fireball, and he can polymorph the
Yeah,
he can
up here. And you can sort of make you can sort of make points for all three of them, right? The 5/5 does the most damage, the 4/2 spawns something, and the 4/2 Cult Master allows him to draw cards potentially.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice. I think at this point you might consider reducing damage, but at the same time you don't want him, if he does have a heal in the deck, you don't want him drawing more cards towards the heal, or drawing more cards towards potential lethal damage as well. He's showing 13 damage on the board. He has 2 cards in hand.
Oh, well, there's the fireball.
There's the fireball. Yeah. So ADWCTA's got it. It's just 1 turn away from victory, and that's not the card that'll do it. Collins has to draw into something. Does he have anything in his deck that can actually help him out? That's not going to be it. I don't remember if he has a heal or not.
Looking at his deck list, it doesn't look like there is a heal, so
No.
that will indeed be game.
Well played.
That was almost, yeah, that was almost the turnaround actually.
Let's see what potential BM. Just playing everything out. Not that fancy. So ADWCTA takes this game, and we can see his strategy from basically 4 to 5 turns ago, where he realized Collins turned this around with that Stormwind Champion. That was such a strong play for him. I'm never grabbing back the board.
So Ratsmah starts out with the zombie chow here.
Such a strong turn. Zombie Chow really can just win you games.
Now ADWCTA has to make a decision. Do I want to just put something on the board, or do I just get rid of this?
Yeah, so if you toss out the Knife Juggler here, it just gets eaten, period, and you basically don't even have your opponent waste a coin. He just chooses to toss it out. I think that's absolutely fine. Ratsmah responds with his own Knife Juggler. So ADWCTA is looking at the Imp Master. What do you think about this play?
I think Imp Master would be okay. He has to hope that like the daggers don't hit though. That's the only problem. But either way, it's just kind of an awkward turn. I certainly wouldn't use the Flame Cannon. I think I would try to save that for a potential turn 3 Spider Tank or something like that.
So ADWCTA chose to remove the Knife Juggler, just so strong in a Warlock deck, and especially because ADWCTA knows the type of deck that Ratsmah is probably playing here, very tempo-oriented, probably slightly more aggressive as well.
Yeah, I really like this. I think the Explosive Sheep is actually going to get quite a bit of value here. And it's also going to basically force Ratsmah to trigger this himself with the 1/1, so he can put something down.
Yeah. But this is the position that Ratsmah wants to be in, where he controls the board and he's able to pump out minions and have the board initiative. So that turn was slightly unfortunate. He definitely wanted to play 2-2, or with the Iron for Grizzly 3-1. Wasn't able to do that, and now ADWCTA is able to basically grab the board back.
Well, without the Explosive Sheep, it would have been certainly more awkward, I think, for him to be able to deal with that kind of board.
Oh, definitely, definitely. The Explosive Sheep, even though we said that it really didn't work with the deck, I think it really helped him out there. All right, I'm sorry, I missed a little bit. So what's been going on? What's been happening?
Ratsmah used the 2/2 to clear the token that was generated by the 1/4, the Master, and
Yeah.
It looks like yeah, it looks like ADWCTA is in control of the board here. Being able to
Yeah,
play.
so we saw from turn 3 where Ratsmah had control of the board to now turn 6, ADWCTA has just been able to keep on flipping it around every single turn. And Ratsmah is putting out a Frost Elemental, but it's just not what he needs right now. He just, and a Warlock that kind of loses control of the board is in a really dangerous spot.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, being able to isolate a target with Flint Cannon and using your tokens to add up damage or have the ping. I think the ping is like pretty big right here. Being able to kill something with your hero power.
Definitely. And ADWCTA, in his mind, I'm sure is hoping to dodge a Hellfire, but he obviously doesn't know that there is no Hellfire in Ratsmah's deck, and I'm sure Ratsmah is hoping for one right now. So what do you think Ratsmah should do on this turn? The board is looking pretty bad. You have nothing on the board right now. Implosion, probably your best bet, right?
Yeah, I think you Implosion here.
Yeah.
Definitely. Just need to get back on the board, like you said.
Exactly.
Well, Cone of Cold is a pretty good answer to those tokens.
Cone of Cold, pretty good answer. All Ratsmah has to do is survive this assault. Really just kind of keep on pushing back a little bit, making sure his life doesn't get too low, because he has the late game card draw. ADWCTA does not.
That's right. But another thing is that he's at 21 health, right? And
Yes.
ADWCTA has a Fireball in his hand. And I don't know, it's looking, I would say probably it's kind of looking grim for Ratsmah right now.
Yeah, this is definitely not the position that
Yeah.
you want to be in.
The thing is the Warlock is that, well, you have the ability to tap if you have a high life total, but if your life total is so low that you're basically pushing yourself deeper and deeper into lethal range, then
Yes.
it's not something that you really want to do. And I'm pretty sure that Ratsmah has some idea of what ADWCTA could be holding in his hand right here.
He has to notice that he hasn't played that card for a while, and it's probably a Fireball. Hasn't had a chance to really... ADWCTA chose not to play it many turns, and I think Ratsmah going through the situations in his head can conclude that, yeah, it's probably just not a minion, it's a spell, and he's used these small removals, so it's probably got to be a big removal. Fireball.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, this was actually a really good turnaround.
Yep, just setting it up for the lethal play. Is there anything Ratsmah can do in his deck? He might think that there is, he just needs to heal here.
Well, he has to hope that there is no Fireball, obviously, and then
Yes.
he's gonna have to taunt up.
Yes.
The problem is that the Cobra is going to take out any big taunt that there is.
Yeah. The Earthen Ring is definitely very clutch. And if you Earthen Ring and play some Defender of Argus and do something with Defender of Argus, I think that's fairly strong.
Yeah, I think at this point he's thinking about how he could possibly win. And Defender of Argus, well, the Earthen Ring is just a little bit weaker than having something that has a shield.
Yeah. You can't play around everything. And
He
I
has
think,
Fireball. He's going to win eventually anyway. So.
yeah, Ratsmah believed that he just needed to make a stronger play on the board rather than heal up his face. And with that, ADWCTA takes it.